What's up everyone, Vu of Vu Films, and I am back with another idiotic video for you to watch. In today's idiotic video, I'll be talking about the new Zhiyun Weebill 2. And of course, it's pretty dumb because I actually don't even have it here with me. I never use it myself. I have held it, I have seen it, and I have seen someone work with it for the past month or so. That person is Say Park. He is my second shooter for the wedding films that I do, so I got to see him work with it, struggle with it, whatever. So with that being said, I have had the opportunity to hold it and see what the footage from it looks like in terms of overall stability. And straight up to the point, it is typical China gimbal, all right? They all work perfect. I mean, at this point, if you buy any gimbal over 300 bucks, it's going to do the job for you. I've said this so many times, many times before, that the only thing that separates gimbals these days is like maybe some knick-knack features, what you're able to connect to it, build quality, etc., etc. But generally speaking, for 99% of use cases for all videographers, these gimbals can all do the job for you in terms of just getting stable footage, shooting them, holding them, and just whatever, okay? And so with the Weebill 2, one of the things that I immediately noticed, and what Say actually mentioned to me when he showed it to me, was that it looks a lot like the DJI Ronin RSC2, which is the gimbal that I've been using and still using right now to this day. And it did look like the DJI Ronin RSC2. But of course, it has like the typical Weebill bump out, so you can put the underslung handle, which I'm familiar with. I've had the Weebill Lab, I've had the Weebill S, and I had the Crane 2S, I had a Crane 2, I had a Crane M2, I had a Crane version 1, I've had DS1 Beholder, I've had DJI Ronin S, I've had DJI Ronin SC, I've had a crap ton of gimbals, so I am familiar with which gimbals are good at what, etc., etc. This video is important for me to make because I feel like my audience, a lot of you guys subscribe to me, probably would like to know my opinion on the matter. And with all of that being said, I think Zhiyun kind of messed up, because one of my biggest gripes about the new Zhiyun Weebill 2 is that it is heavy. It is heavier than the Ronin SC2. It is heavier than the Ronin S2 or RS2, whatever the heck you want to call it. And the sad thing is, originally when Zhiyun marketed the Weebill Lab, the name Weebill means like it's like a little bird in Australia. These gimbals are supposed to be small, yet this Zhiyun Weebill 2 got bigger and heavier than if you look at the old Weebill Lab and Weebill S. I remember, Say used to, think it was so cool that he just stuck his whole gimbal in his backpack and just pulled it out ready to go. He can't do that anymore. And so it is not so much like a travel gimbal anymore. It's actually like around the same size almost as the Ronin SC2. But the Ronin SC2, when you want to pack it down, you can literally fold it and put it away in your backpack. So like this is significantly smaller size than what it was before if you're trying to put in your backpack. And another thing that is kind of like baffling to me is Zhiyun has been known for using the 18500 batteries, but now they've gone and copied DJI with the built-in battery. The problem with that is that their built-in battery is not removable, whereas the DJI RS2, you can actually like detach the battery so you can pack it away. But Zhiyun Weebill 2 is completely like locked tight, okay? I've been thinking about this video pretty much all day. I watched all the other tube douchers that got the gimbal for review, and I watched their videos, And a lot of them are just kind of missing the point. A lot of them are, this is just my opinion. It is not me trying to hate on them or anything like that. Like, just real talk. A lot of these guys, they literally use the gimbal that one day just to do the review. And every other day of the year, they do not shoot with it. They do not use it every day. Guys like me, guys like Say, we use the gimbal like daily. Like, I have 35 weddings this year. This Ronin RS2 was released in October or something last year. It has already filmed over 20 weddings and multiple other shoots, commercial shoots, corporate shoots, what have you. This thing has been put to work. So I didn't just buy it and review it. I didn't just get it from DJI or something. I bought it and I've been using it professionally for paid gigs. So I know the ins and outs. I know the quirks about it. You can't possibly tell people to truly tell people to buy something or review it and recommend it unless you've actually used it for over 6 months. That's my opinion, because things happen over 6 months, and I'll tell you about something about this in a second. But the Weebill 2 is no longer, to me, it's no longer like that travel gimbal that the Weebill Lab and Weebill S were. This thing is significantly larger. You can't pack it down. Aside from all the extra features and stuff that most dudes using gimbals won't even use, like all those extra new features, tracking, whatever it has. The screen is just egregious, in my opinion. Just looking at it and just seeing how it flips in and out, and look at it, there's like the light. It's just, one, a waste of battery. Two, you don't need a screen that big on your Weebill, because most dudes with a gimbal that size would probably just mount an actual monitor on it instead of using that screen to monitor their footage. And watching Say use it for the past month, I didn't see him really use it to monitor video even once. It's just at a weird spot. It's better if you just using your screen on your camera. So it's just an extra thing that makes the gimbal cost a little bit more, makes it use up a little more battery. It's an unnecessary gimmick, in my opinion. So again, unfortunately, I just think Zhiyun this time has been doing it the same way they've been doing it freaking like all their other gimbals. It seems like every single gimbal they release is just like a beta release, right? So they make people test it, they make people use it, they do like multiples of firmware updates on it, and then expect you to buy a new one when that comes out. And if I were you, you're looking for a gimbal right now and you don't have one, there's a lot of other gimbals you could buy. Like, you could buy this one, which is cheaper. This is a Ronin S2. This is a DJI RSC2, which can handle pretty much Sony a7S III with a 2470 on it, which is probably as heavy as most of you guys would go. That includes the cage on it. So, easily handle a Sony a7S III with a 24-70 G Master lens on it. The more expensive one, the RS2, could handle that. It's lighter, it's carbon fiber, detachable, all the features. We all know about it now. So you don't have to spend $650, $700 or something like that on a gimbal. And I think if you have like a Weebill S2 and it's been working for you, that balances a 2470 just fine. And I don't see the point in necessarily having to upgrade from that, especially since it's lighter, easier to travel with, handles the weight. The only thing rickety about it is, we all know that I've already had a complaint about it, is these locks on the locks on the Weebill S is janky. But that gimbal is only like $300 now. You could buy 2 of those gimbals for the price of one Weebill 2, which is egregiously heavy for what it's supposed to be, which is supposed to be like this compact gimbal. It's no longer a compact gimbal. You can't even, like I said, you can't pack it down. And it's just like, I would just chill. If you're not shooting a bunch of stuff, just chill, wait, and it'll eventually drop down to like $400 like in a few months. You guarantee that. With that said, what I told you about before was that I've already, even like this DJI RSC2 here, right? I like the gimbal. It's been good. It's like been one of my favorite gimbals I've ever had. But it has its own quirks, right? Everything's working fine. The locks are all good. But one of the things that a reviewer who has only had the gimbal for a few weeks or a month won't get to see is that the eventual quirks that will happen with the gimbal. In my case, the little grip here is starting to come loose a little bit right here. It's barely, like I think it's the glue or something. Can't really see it, but I feel it sometimes when I'm using the gimbal. And the most annoying one, and the one that is making me want to switch to a different gimbal, is these locks, these twist locks to lock your axis in place. And the beginning was fine, but now it's starting to like slide. So like as the day goes on, this thing starts getting loose, and then like I'll pick up my gimbal, and then I realize off balance because this part, it starts to slide down. So then I have to readjust it, relock it really hard, and eventually it just starts sliding off again. So I've been really looking hard at the DJI RS2 because it has like a better locking system for the axes. I'm not talking about like this lock. This is the lock, that when you're traveling, you just lock it and you keep this in place. I'm talking about the actual locks that balance this gimbal. It's starting to get loose. And I don't know what it is. So it's starting to annoy me because every time I set the gimbal down, pick it back up, I always have to do the slight rebalancing. It doesn't take me long because I'm used to it, but it's still annoying nonetheless. That is my opinion on the Zhiyun Weebill 2. Before you go out and pre-order and like buy into a lot of like the overbearing hype of day one launch of tube duration videos, I just want to bring it down a second and just tell you that it's just another gimbal. It's exactly what it is. I may have thought about purchasing a Weebill 2 if it was lighter, a little bit smaller, and if it was more modular, where you could take off the grip and stuff to make it smaller so you could pack it down. But as it is right now, I can't justify the price when there's other things out there that does the job in terms of just overall stability and gimbal, pretty much just as good, without just the added heft, price, etc., etc. I mean, I've reviewed Say's footage the past month of weddings, and just seeing what he has filmed, I can't tell you that any of it looks much more or less different than his work using any other gimbal in the past. He's a professional, he knows how to shoot. He still needs to gimbal walk properly, heel toe, with the Weebill 2, just as he did with every other gimbal he used before that. So it still takes skill to be able to use a gimbal properly. And like I said, there's no discernible difference between the footage he's giving me now with the Weebill 2 versus Weebill S, Crane 2S, Ronin SC2, Ronin S2, every other gimbal he's ever used. I feel like the footage, it's pretty much the same thing. Didn't make much difference in the way he works. So if you're looking for your first gimbal, there's plenty of other gimbals for you to get that I think would do the job for you without having to pay over $600. And if you're looking to upgrade, I'll be honest with you, the best, like overall encompassing gimbal is the Ronin S2. Like it's light, it could handle the weight, and you could pack it down small and put it away in your backpack. It's just expensive. But with that being said, guys, I hope this video was enlightening. I hope it helped you out in some type of way. I hope it, gave you a break from the standard stuff that you see on YouTube duration. And I hope it's, something that just clears things in terms of, I hope it clears things up, I hope it helps you make a business decision with your gimbal purchase. If you like this kind of videos, like this kind of content, please like, share, and subscribe to this video. And the reality is, one of the main reasons why I just wanted to film a video today, because I'm trying to test out these foam panels that I put in the back. My room is still very echoey still, and I've been trying to upgrade my office to make it more sound friendly. So another thing is I'm just trying to see what this all sounds like. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And until next time, lighten up.